Hi, welcome to Vegan Finds, where we're going to be making chicken fried chicken. Imagine that. And we're going to go from this to this. This is chicken fried chicken. Okay, so in order to make chicken fried chicken, obviously you have to start with vegan chicken. That's chicken apostrophe N. And we're using the Gardein lightly seasoned chicken scallopini because it's gluten free. Some of their other products are not gluten free. And in essence, what chicken fried chicken is basically a riff on chicken fried steak, where you take a steak, you pound it down real thin, and you treat it like you would chicken, fried chicken. In this case, we're actually not going to be pounding anything other than when we eat this. And we're going to bread this, fry it, slather it up in some beautiful white gravy, and have a nice little side of mashed potatoes. So, let's get started. And the first thing we're going to do is make our breading and our batter. Okay, so here's our breading. And in the breading, we have 1 cup of Panko breadcrumbs. We're using the Kikkoman brand. And the reason that we're using Kikkoman is because they are the only, or one of the few brands that's both gluten-free and vegan. A lot of the gluten-free breadcrumb brands have either honey in them or egg, or sometimes both. So you got to be careful. You got to read the labels, especially if you're gluten-free and vegan. I've added a tablespoon of paprika, 2 teaspoons of granulated garlic, a teaspoon of ground ginger, a teaspoon of dried mustard, a teaspoon of celery salt, half a teaspoon of ground thyme, half a teaspoon of dried basil, and half a teaspoon of oregano, plus a couple turns of black pepper. I have not added any additional salt to this. One of the reasons that I don't add salt is that a lot of the stuff that we are layering this with has salt in it already, or so I shouldn't say salt, but sodium. The chicken scallopinis have, some natural salt added to them, so I don't need to add additional salt and make a dish too salty. So that's what we're doing here. So the breading is done. Now it's time to make the batter. Okay, so in order to start our batter, we need to make a vegan buttermilk. So in my cup here, I've got 1 cup of almond milk, and I'm adding to that 2 teaspoons of lemon juice. Now, if you aren't familiar, when you add lemon juice to anything that has a liquid fat to it, it's going to kind of coagulate and become thick. So while this is waiting to turn, I'm going to get the dry ingredients. Okay, so to my batter dish, I'm adding 1/2 cup of chickpea flour. To the flour, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Again, I'm going to add a couple turns of black pepper. And this is probably the most black pepper I've used, but because of the white gravy, I like to kind of layer different flavors. So in this case, black pepper is the layering flavor. And now all I have to do is whisk in our vegan buttermilk. And you can see it actually thickened up quite a bit. And we're just going to whisk this in, like so. And there we have it, folks. We've got our dipping batter, our coating breading, and now it's time to get this show on the road. So I'm going to get out a pan. I'm going to start heating it up, and we're going to get this party started. So I got my pan heating up here. As you can see, I got some olive oil that we're going to cook this in. I might have to add a little bit more, I'm not sure yet. And now comes the breading portion. I'm actually going to wait a moment before I actually drop this in, but basically you dunk your chicken in there and you gently, because these are pretty fragile, flip them over. Try and keep one hand dry. I'm actually going to drop in yeah, it still needs a little bit of time to heat up, but I'm going to get these all prepped up, ready to be fried, and when I come back, we'll start frying. Adding my last chicken cutlet to the pan here. I'm going to start flipping in a moment. We get a nice golden brown color, which is what we're looking for here. Now, if you're looking for chickpea flour and you happen to be in an Indian food market or an Asian market, it is sometimes labeled, or it would be labeled as besan, B-E-S-A-N. That is the Indian word for chickpea, apparently. And there we go. So our chicken is cooking up nicely here. Okay, I'm taking the chicken out of the pan, and we'll be ready to plate this shortly. So here's our final product. It's obviously chicken fried chicken. You've learned that from the very beginning of the video when we went to this. So if you like these videos, please click subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment and give us a thumbs up. We love our thumbs up. Please enjoy, be safe, and sayonara.